For this video, I've used Car and Driver's top 25 best sellers in the US and ran leases on all of them using May's rates and residuals. Just some disclaimers real quick before I start though. All these numbers are for May 2024 and all of these estimates expire at the end of the month. They're for 2024 model year vehicles unless I say otherwise. The deals are assuming 36 months and 12,000 miles a year. Also, these deals are assuming you're covering your dealer and state fees due at start and won't include your state sales tax in the payment. The numbers are assuming you've got a 720 FICO score. And lastly, guys, I'm just some guy on YouTube. At the end of the day, please always do a bit of research to verify accuracy of these estimates and even try to do better. Diving right in. Starting off at number 25 is the Ford Escape. Inventory has decreased slightly by 300 units, which for Ford is definitely a good thing. Residual and money factor have not changed since last month, so our payments have stayed at $458 if you got it at the dealer's cost and about $516 if you paid full MSRP. How do I know invoice cost, inventory levels, rebates, residuals, all that? I have a cheat sheet that tells you how to pull all this information using public data. 25 bucks, you'd be kind of nuts not to. Link in the description, you guys. At number 24 is the Subaru Forester. Inventory continues to drop significantly, going from 16,000 down to 11,200 units. Just FYI, 2 months ago, we were at 20,000 units. We've got about 2,800 limiteds in stock, and on a $36,000 MSRP, your dealer invoice would be just a touch under $34,000. And since we're seeing inventory drop significantly, the money factor has increased substantially to 00205, raising our payment range to $437 at invoice and $500 at MSRP. At number 23 is the Mazda CX-5. CX-5 inventory dipped slightly to about 22,300 units, with 8,700 of those being select all-wheel drives. Residual did drop 1%, however, the money factor dropped significantly with it. However, the money factor dropped slightly with it to 0.00179, bringing the new payment down by about $1. $400 at invoice and $420 at full MSRP. At number 22 is the Jeep Wrangler. Jeep continues to stack inventory despite slowing sales, going from 18,000 units last month to about 21,000 units this month. 4,500 Sport S 4x4s, so more inventory and now a lower residual, but Jeep has decided to raise the already high money factor just a bit more, raising our target payments to $626 at invoice and $668 at full MSRP. The thing with Jeep though, always see what their other banks are offering, because the third-party credit unions always offer a cheaper payment when Jeep is overcharging. Also, the 4xe is really affordable right now, with a lot of people using websites like autocompanion.com to get deals around like 300 bucks. Check them out. At number 21 is the Subaru Crosstrek. What is going on with Subaru, man? Inventory has decreased to 14,700 units, and of those 14,700, 2,800 are premium all-wheel drives. Residual dropped by 1 point, and the money factor dropped ever so slightly with it. The new payment for May is $355 at invoice and $377 at MSRP. At number 20 is the Subaru Outback. Outback inventory continues to hover at around 19,000 units since last month, 4,300 of those units being limited all-wheel drives. The lease program got a little bit weird. Residual went down 1%, yet money factor went up. At invoice, we're 20 bucks more this month at $488, and at MSRP, we're at $560. At number 19 is the Toyota Highlander. Man, Highlander inventory is taking a beating. We went from 4,300 units last month to 3,900 units this month, and the large majority of those being XLE all-wheel drives. The residual did see a 2% drop, however, Toyota lowered the money factor to compensate, keeping payments nearly identical over last month between $509 and $522. Again, you guys, how I find all this information on my own is on my cheat sheet. You can access it by clicking the link in the description. At number 18 is the Ford Explorer. 2,000 less units this month, dropping our inventory count to 31,000 Explorers, 11,500 of those being the XLT 4x4. Program is the exact same as last month. However, at invoice, you're at $606, and at MSRP, you're at $660. Push to get into the 500s on the Explorer as much as you can, because people people are definitely doing that. At number 17 is the Honda Accord. Accord inventory is down slightly from last month, but just slightly, just a touch. 6,800 of these 9,000 Accords that we have are the EX. The program has not changed, and we're still talking about $333 at invoice and $380 at MSRP. At number 16 is the Civic. Civic inventory has dropped again this month, dipping to 10,400 units, 5,700 of those being the Sport. Residual dropped 1% to 63%, and the money factor stayed the same. However, we did get a modest increase of $500 in lease cash, dropping our payment range to $301 if you got it at invoice and $345 at full MSRP. At number 15, the Hyundai Tucson. Slight decrease in inventory on the Tucson with 13,000 total units on the ground versus the 14,000 we had last month, and 4,700 of those are SEL all-wheel drives. The lease program has stayed the same, right at 63% residual and a 0.00255 money factor with $2,250 in lease cash, and our payment comes to $347 at invoice and $403 at full MSRP. Same as last month, really. At number 14 is the Chevy Equinox. Equinox inventory has decreased as well, with the top seller, the LT, making up the large majority of the 16,000 units we have in the US. The residual has dropped 2% since last month, with no change to the money factor, technically making for a higher lease payment, raising our range to $413 at invoice and $447 at full MSRP. At number 13, the Toyota Corolla. Roughly the same amount of Corollas as last month, hovering around 4,300 units, 2,800 of those being LE front-wheel drives. Program is the same as last month, so at invoice, we're at $302 still and $352 at full MSRP. At number 12 is the Tesla Model 3. This is nuts. I don't have anything to say. Check out the website. At number 11 is the Toyota Tacoma. Tacoma inventory continues to climb. 9,900 units in the US at the moment, with 3,100 of those being SR5s. Same program, same money factor, and same residual, so same payment range. At invoice, we're seeing a payment of $443, and at invoice, about $542. Use the cheat sheet to find out up to the minute programs on any vehicle, trim, and zip code you need. $25. You'd be kind of nuts. I'm telling you, this price is going to change very, very soon. At number 10 is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is just gas, non-L inventory. Tons of L and 4xe inventory available also. I don't get it. Jeep inventory grew 1,000 units, even though competitors are slowing production. Nearly 20,000 gas, non-L Grand Cherokees in stock, 10,000 of those being limited 4x4s. I definitely would pursue a smoking hot deal, but on a 4xe. However, let's focus on the gas model so you get an idea of what the gas engine leases out for. Residuals took a hard dip this month, down to 57%, with some help with a lower money factor of 0.00143. At full MSRP, shoot for $607, and at invoice, about $579. My recommendation is to go for about $450, honestly, because it's more than possible, way less than $400 if you're working on a 4xe, just FYI. At number 9 is the Nissan Rogue. Last month, we had a surfeit of inventory, if you can recall the word of the day. That surfeit grew substantially. A super surfeit, if you will. We went from 19,000 units to 25,000 units, and 17,000 of those 25,000 are SVs, both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Nissan finally decided to drop the money factor from 0.0033 to 0.0023 because the residual also dropped 2 points, down to a 66%. This dropped our payment, though, to $388 at invoice and $443 at MSRP. A huge drop of like $40 over last month. At number 8 is the Toyota Camry. Big drop in inventory versus last month, and now we're at 9,400 units, and 3,400 of those are SC front-wheel drives. Same program as last month, 54% residual and 0.00137 money factor, bringing us to $359 at invoice and $432 at MSRP. At number 7 is the GMC Sierra. Sierra inventory has decreased slightly over last last month, now at 37,000 units. Identical program as last month, literally the exact same, calculating to payments at invoice of $662, and at MSRP we're at $763. At number 6 is the Honda CR-V, 14,000 CR-Vs, and 5,700 of those are EXL all-wheel drives. Money factor and residual saw a slight drop, readjusting our payments to $419 at invoice and $445 at MSRP. At number 5, the Tesla Model Y. You're gonna love me for this. Go to the website. At number 4, the Toyota RAV4, America's favorite SUV. Inventory is roughly the same, 6,000 units total, and 1,500 of those are XLE all-wheel drives. The program has improved, but only slightly, with a 1% increase in residual and no change in the money factor, calculating to payments of $450 at invoice, and at MSRP we're at $518. At number 3 is the Ram 1500. Ram currently has 37,000 1500s, and 8,400 of those are Laramies. A 1% drop in the residual and a slight drop in the money factor as well as some fat bonus cash. So now we're at $639 at invoice and $749 at MSRP. Push for well below invoice. I can't stress this enough. Go below 600 as your target. Rams are known for having fat profit margins. At number 2 is the Chevy Silverado. Chevy has made a big dent in their inventory, dropping from about 72,000 to 66,000 units nationally. 15,000 of these are LT 4x4s, and the program did change a bit, making payments a bit more expensive, calculating to $578 at invoice and $666 at MSRP. Lastly, at number 1, the Ford F-150. We've now got 41,000 2024s in the US. However, Ford cut down the total inventory in the US down significantly since the start of the year, with a total of about 55,000 in the United States. 20,000 of the 2024s are XLTs. No change to the ridiculous lease program though on America's best seller. 65% residual and a 4.42% APR, making our payments $660 at invoice and $747 at MSRP. There you have it, the top 25 best sellers in America and what they're leasing out for the month of May. Check out the cheat sheet by clicking the link in the description below. And bro, you'll probably love this video right here that I talk about how I would negotiate a car as a broker. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.